Cheers to you as we discuss how to quit your day job and become a stager and designer. 8 key steps to success. What are we going to go over? I got lots to go over with you guys. All right. We're going to talk about the importance of passions when it comes to actually creating a business you love or just even being an entrepreneur. I have my own personal story there. We're going to talk about practical planning steps, things you can actually do now that costs nothing to starting kind of that design staging business that you've always kind of been thinking about. No need for a 4-year degree. We're going to talk about some self assessments because your business will be based on you. So we got to get honest with ourselves and some exercises you can do to really make sure that you're going to do well at this. We're going to get a little personal. And then I'm going to walk you through kind of a structure, the structure I actually teach in my course on taking a phone order, walking through the home, your design process. I'm going to show you those things that I actually give my members in my course because I do think structure is important. We're going to talk about innovating, finding your niche, using your creative genius, um, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek at a lot of my own pricing, forms, process, like I said, inspirational stories, photos, all on the way. If I give you lots of good information, is it okay if I tell you about 2 course specials I am having? If that's okay in the chat, put yep. I always like to warn you. All right. Who is this for? You are in the right place. If you're just new to staging and design, um, if you're thinking about the industry, which I imagine a lot of you are, the title Quit Your Day Job pretty much resonates. If you're an agent looking at maybe adding staging to your business, it's still, even my veteran stagers and designers will get something out of this. Even if you're a design enthusiast, color lover, wherever you are, basically, if you love to see before photos like this, turn into after photos like this, you are in the right place. And let me see here. Sometimes I like to do this where I can do a survey to see kind of what best fits you. Go ahead, see if you can see this survey and put what describes you. If you're not a stager or designer, but looking into the industry, I don't know if you could see that. Click on that. Oh, good. It looks like you guys are getting the hang of this. Okay. Veteran stagers, new stagers, design lovers, real estate agents. You can put in your vote. It's kind of fun to see. And this also helps me because then I know as I'm proceeding through my presentation, I can kind of tailor it a little bit to where you're at. But I imagine that most of you, over half of you, are looking into the industry or you're new into the industry, which I kind of figured with the name of this one. And that's why it's so critical, these steps that I'm going to go through. And I do have, of course, a lot of my design lovers, which is awesome. You guys are in the right place. I'm going to end that poll, finish, close it, and let's go back to my screen share. Um, Here it is. Sorry, there I am. Okay, technology. Hopefully you see that. If you like to see before photos like this, turn into after photos like this. And by the way, this is my sister's work, which I do always share a lot of because she and I started our staging business over 20 years ago. She's still doing it. So she's my real life, real world example when I talk about, how to actually do this. Okay, who am I? If you don't know who I am, my name is Audra Slinky. I'm president of the Home Staging Resource. I started it back in 2006 after I had my staging business. I kind of, nobody knew what staging was, and I thought, we need to create a training and help people actually grow this industry. I know that sounds crazy because now everybody knows what it was, but trust me, 20 years ago, they did not. And some of you guys remember that. But I started kind of an online mixed media training really to help people had a website, everything so that they could launch quickly. It was a business in a box, and I still have that training. I've won lots of awards. I've shared the stage with Barbara Corcoran, Sabrina Soto, Vern Yip at RESA conventions I usually speak at every year. But the thing that gets me up every morning that I absolutely love is I'm really proud to have trained the most amazing award-winning stagers in the industry through that training. And if you're one of my staging stagers, if you've taken any one of my courses, you know I love a shout out in the chat room because I get nervous every time I do this. So if any of you are one of my members, Thank you for being here. I had that training, I worked on that training. I mean, it's still all my trainings are evolved. I update them every year. I started a color training because so many of my stagers said, how to teach us what you did for color? So I started a color consulting 3-day course, an e-design 3-day course because e-design's so hot. And then also most recently a vacation rental. So those are my kind of four big products. Let's talk about you. Are you feeling like in the chat, go ahead and put yes, no, maybe. Do you feel like you're moving towards what you love to do with real momentum? Are you loving what you're doing? Um, do you even know what those dreams are? Like, really, some people are just like, no, yes, where am I at? What do I want to do? And as we kind of end a year and start a new year, it's kind of that time where I don't know about you, but fall is that time for reflection. And I do this workshop pretty much one time a year, and it's always around this time of year. And I know that quit your day job really resonates with people. And I love to share the story of Eve because I think she really embodies how so many of us have sometimes felt in a current position. Before she took my training, she spent 25 years as a freelance stenographer court reporter in Florida. In 2021, she moved to North Carolina and she just did the same thing. She had a very practical job. Um, as that court reporter, just did it in her new move. But every time she crossed the thresholds of those various courthouses, she felt like a little piece of her died inside. And she talked with her husband and she said, I'm done. How many of you guys have actually felt that way? Have been really, really miserable in your jobs? And I have shared this because with my niece, who's just, more recently in the job world, I was so miserable once at a job that I remember on my way to work, kind of dreading going and almost wishing that I'd get into like a little fender bender so I could avoid going to work. I know that sounds I'm confessing to you guys how awful that is. Not anything dangerous, not hurting anybody, not hurting myself, but just enough little fender bender so that I don't have to go to work. My niece was cracking up. She said, that was exactly my job. I felt the same way. And people can totally kind of understand that. And, we do it. We do it's practical, just like Eve, you know? But here's the thing that I've noticed, because and this is where I'm going to get back to your passions being important. I was not in my passionate space, obviously. I was just doing a job. So, how many of you decorated your room as a kid? Put me in the chat. I'll just be curious. We're that weird breed that like to decorate our room. Put me if you just love HGTV, you love to look at your homes online, or even I had somebody just email me today that just said, they sold their home. The agent was like, did you hire a stager? Because you have great tastes, or, and she didn't. Um, or maybe you're the go to designer for your friends and family. Yeah, we all know who that is. Because here's the thing, you think people are all like you, but they're not. And actually, statistically, according to Realtor.com, they say not even 10% of people can actually visualize the potential of a home. This is why staging is so important. But that tells me that 10% is really just the amount of people like us who can visualize in that room. And it's probably even less because maybe some people can visualize potential, but they can't necessarily solve it. They just haven't been designing since they were a kid. So I guess what I'm saying is a lot of people, I saw one of you and a few of you in the chat said you'd love to change, you'd love to start something new, but you're just afraid, right? And we've all felt that way. But I want to just start this workshop by telling you that you have a rare and unique talent if those things fit you, and you've been honing it since you were a kid, and it's because that talent is really your passion. So it's like those people who are artists or great cooks or whatever their talent is, that's your talent. A lot of us ignore it, we just think everybody's like it, but they're not. And people need and will pay for your gift and your talent. They will. Ultimately, they will. I have been training people for 20 years on how to share their gift and their talents. And they're always shocked when they make money. And I just want to tell you that. So, how many of you, we've talked about this, are using those passions, gifts, talents to help others and fulfill your purpose? And I know for many years I was not. And I know right now, being in my sweet spot, I absolutely love it. So, I'm going to get to those 8 steps, and I'm going to use the 8 steps. I'm going to talk about it in an acronym, and the acronym is passions, because I do believe that it's really important that if you're whatever you're doing, that it should be in your passion sweet spot. I know people, that's an overused word, but it's really not. I can't emphasize it enough, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because that passion will be the fuel for your business. And the 8 steps, you can kind of get a big piece of paper. I'm going to go through each one individual. The first one, planning, then assessment, self-assessment, structure, support, innovation, open and transparent. I'm going to explain each one. Don't worry. Know and start. I love that some of you guys are in your spot, because here's like a quick backstory. And it's so funny because I just found this screenshot. Before I was a stager and in my passion kind of arena and doing the training and things that I love, I actually had a 7-figure business, my own business. A lot of people are shocked at that, but I did. I started that right after I got married. And here I found I was a speaker and writer for this company on recruitment, internet, on all things internet. I loved the internet, and I would help Fortune 500 companies basically train them. I even spoke internationally. I would train them on how to use this new technology, the internet. This is how old I am. This was late 90s, early 2000. And I share this, and here's kind of my article. I actually found it. They still have it up. So you can see my last article. Why is that last article there? It's because I actually became a mother, and I found kind of my new passion to this little guy. But it wasn't long after, when I had this little guy, that I thought, I want to start my own business, but this time I'm going to do it something I'm passionate about, because I lost interest. Even though that other business was really successful, I lost interest in it. And I think that I can't emphasize how important that is, because I wasn't fueled. I wasn't fueled. I wasn't doing what I love. And so that's what I want to share with you, because here I am. It's kind of fun to flash forward 20 years. We're celebrating 20 years next year of doing the training, but even longer with the staging. And I still love what I do. And I can say I was a person, that job, I just changed all the time. And that's why the passions are so important. So let's start with P, planning. First things first, just some steps to get started. So many things that you can do. You have nothing to lose. I know a lot of us, our pride is on the line, but if you ever like thought about the industry, dreamt about the industry, a few things, business things to do ahead of time is just consider your business type, sole proprietorship, LLC. Those are easy things that you can set up without even like investing anything. Um, and then I always say, choose your business name, choose something that has to do with you. You don't necessarily stick with just design or staging, keep it broad. I think ideally a good business name has to do with is your name. If your name is Ashley Anderson, make it Ashley Anderson Home or Ashley Anderson Interiors or Ashley Anderson Design, and do a search online to make sure nobody else has it. And then you reserve the domain on GoDaddy, ideally. It's $15. So you've made a $15 investment in a potential business that would be your dream. And that's it. And then the next step, kind of creating a website. But I've even had people get started and they didn't even invest in a website. So ideally you do. But you don't necessarily have to. You can do social media profiles. There's so much out there. You Google my business, things like that, to just start working towards something that you're passionate about without having to really feel like you're overextending yourself financially. And I know for some of you, you're like, I'm ready to invest. And if you are, then that's great, because website will be critical. We do have a website product. A lot of people are surprised about that, but I've never wanted a website to be the stopping point for someone to get into this industry. Since the moment I launched this training in 2006, we've always had a website product people can buy. We were doing them in HTML back then. But this website product, we slide in blocks. You can see all the pages are done. There is a lot of choices. It's just very easy for people. It's kind of set up for them. So it's always an option for anyone who takes a training. All right. So steps to getting started. Organize your home office. If you're going to start your own business, you need that, or a kitchen desk. take the before photo, take the after photo. That's then you start creating your portfolio. How many of you started just creating kind of before and after photos of your rooms or spaces, just on the idea that maybe this is something you would do in the future? Or maybe if you're already a stager, have you done that? Me, yeah, I love that. And it's so smart because so many people join my training and they're like, I redesigned my entire house and I never took the before photos. Now, you don't need before photos. It's okay if you have your great after photos, but it's really cool, right, to see how much your work is that you've evolved. And I love it. Somebody just said they've done their friends. And that is going to be your bread and butter. This is why people will want your stuff. Um, and then you think, okay, do I quit my day job? Do I stay and slowly build? And so I walk people through. You don't have to quit. A lot of people think that they have to, how do I work 40 hours? You don't. This business, and I'll show you how, can work around a full time. But these are the slow steps that you can make today that doesn't really cost you much. So what are the true costs involved with starting kind of staging and design? Obviously, I would think I hoping training. I think the training will save you months. My training that's designed to be the business in a box. Marketing materials these days, Canva is such a great solution. We give so many Canva templates. You don't really even need to spend very much money in print like you used to, because now it's all kind of PDF or sent via email, which is, free. Like I mentioned, website hosting, your computer, printer, cell, and anything you buy for your business then becomes a write-off for your business. So you're already paying for your cell phone, paying for your computer, whatever that is. Now it becomes a write-off to the future business that you're going to make money at. And that's kind of the really cool thing about staging and design is the things you buy that you're going to put in your friends' homes or other homes then become a write-off to your business once you start making money. So it's very fun to shop. But home staging really is the least expensive business you can start, and actually make good money at. That's not a multi-level marketing thing. It's definitely not that. And the staging industry and design industry is very, very hot right now. Um, in fact, how many of you guys saw the latest statistics? The Real Estate Staging Association is the third party association that represents the staging industry. And how many of you guys, if you said yes or no, have seen these statistics? They blew my mind. These just came out a couple months ago. They're on my blog. If you want to share them, the images, especially if you are a new stager, this is the kind of stuff we give our members. Please share, send them out. But the on average in the US, stage properties sold for 126,000 over list price once they were professionally staged. I mean, crazy. Um, and if you think, well, that's a strange anomaly, and maybe that's just the United States, my friends in Canada did even better. 155,000 over list price. Crazy. The thought is kind of this staging really affects the price of a home. And the industry as a whole, the design and staging and decorating is, according to House, they interview over 2,000 professionals. Designers, stagers, decorators were the most optimistic. In fact, the majority that were polled anticipate a good to very good year for their business. And they were the two groups, above builders, architects, everything, that were the most excited about the future of their business. Because how many of you in the chat wondered, like if you've been kind of thinking, oh, I don't know, if you wondered if maybe your area is too saturated or maybe you missed the boat when it came to starting a staging and design business? Anybody ever thought that? You can put me. You just thought, oh, maybe the timing's not right, or there's just so many people out there. Yeah. And I hear that. I get that's a legitimate question. People think that. But I have a couple new stats to share with you that I am so excited about. Okay. This one, this was a surprise stat that came out because they actually expected at the start of this year that things would slow down. I mean, look at since this, I think this is since 2017, the residential remodeling forecast has like doubled. It's been crazy, right? COVID, all of that. Um, and so they said this year they expect it to go down, but they had to actually change the forecast because they had a super strong quarter, surprisingly, kind of fits with what Howe said. And now they're expecting this to go through to the year 2028, to go up and up and up. And this is for residential remodeling. This is renovation design. And the design backlog is at about 6 weeks. People have to wait about that to get a designer in their area. And if you think that's just a California thing, you're wrong. I'm in California, so people always say that, Audrey, it's just your California numbers. No, look, if the most backlogged is my friends in the Midwest. I find that really interesting. And the truth of the matter is, and this is the reason that's fueling all of this and will fuel it years to come, is because America's housing supply is really old. It's 41 years old on average. Did you know that? So the average home, 41 years. And when a home hits 20 years old, kind of the renovation spending actually goes up 15% because let's be honest, you're not just changing out the cabinets. Cabinets are old, 20 years old. So every 20 years, the price of that renovation goes up. And frankly, the builders stop building. I mean, we all remember what 2008 looked like. They stopped building for too long. So we have this what's called a renovation boom where everybody has been doing kind of design, build. We're kind of playing catch up and it's probably going to be lasting from here to come. Of course, my financial analyst says, invest in Home Depot, Lowe's. But the interesting thing is, it's really those higher interest rates also led to the renovation boom. How many of you on this chat have an interest rate lower than 6% on your home? Just put me. Me too. So 9 out of 10 have lower than 6%. So there's been kind of this incentives to stay put, renovate, kind of love where you live, waiting for those interest rates to get a little bit lower. And then the recent stat that I just came out last week, which I kind of love this. They're calling these our golden handcuffs because we're kind of handcuffed to the house that we're at until those interest rates get lower because none of us want to create a new loan at a higher rate than what we already have, right? So that is one reason why in the staging realm, the inventory has been a little bit lower in the last couple of years. I saw some people say that. This is why I've been telling my stagers the last couple of years, time to pivot and really upsell your design. There are two sides to the same coin, but a lot of times when design is slow, staging's hot. And on other times when staging is slower, there's low inventory, design is hot, which we've been watching a lot over the last couple of years. But these golden handcuffs are set to come off next year. So I just got this article, like I said, and they say what we want you to know is that the average yield rate, which is normally only a 1% difference than the mortgage rate, is at a 3% difference. There's this big gap, which is strange. So he says there's this huge chance that mortgage rates next year will go below 5% and it'll be a powerful trend. It will lead to a flood of activity in the housing market because people are waiting for that. That's their magic number is that 5%, which will boost the overall economy. So I'm very excited about what staging is going to look like next year as these interest rates, that gap starts closing between the yields. I'm sorry I'm talking financial tech stuff, but I love this stuff. The golden handcuffs are beginning to break. And when those interest rates go lower, we're going to see a lot. We're already seeing a lot more inventory on the market. Have you guys noticed that even strangely for fall because of the lower interest rates? Expect to see a lot more. I think the spring season's going to be booming, which is super exciting. But also one of the reasons why people design has really been booming is because and staging is there's too many choices out there for the average consumer. I mentioned you guys are that unique 10% that actually love design, can make beautiful spaces, can see the potential in a home. Well, the average person when they start, they used to just go to a big box store to buy. Well, there's just too many choices now. They're overwhelmed, so they're deferring now to designers because e-commerce purchasing is a little bit confusing to them. I mean, how many of you guys feel in the chat that everywhere you look, there's a new vendor out there, whether it's furnishing, art, everything's so exciting. There are so many great vendors out there. I'm finding new ones all the time. I'm going to shop here. So much fun. So that's what makes kind of that stuff exciting. And that's why it's literally quadrupled since, since in the last, 10 years, right? So it's overwhelming to the average person. We love it. We're shoppers galore, but it's overwhelming to them. So a lot of you are saying, well, Audra, what should I start? Staging or design? If I'm thinking about doing that, which I know a lot of you. So here's the reason I always say start staging first. And here's one of the benefits to staging business first. It does not require large overhead or liability. It's a simplified design If you get my, you're not doing big time design, you're not knocking down walls. It's a simplified design. It doesn't require that 4-year degree. It's, and not that interior design necessarily does either. But here's the thing that I really love, and it gets back to those real estate, those stats I just showed you. Staging is the only cost to the seller that actually makes the money. So it's not a luxury product, it's a necessity product. So in a down economy, which we've all been like, where's our economy going? It's still staging is still a necessity. It made people 126,000 on average last year. It provides an easy target market. This is the one thing I really love about the business model of staging is it's different than who is the target market for interior designers? Their best target market is the new homeowner, but they're really hard to find, or just any homeowner, which is pretty much everybody, unless you live in a cave. Where staging has these target markets, they're called real estate agents that you partner with, they become your friend. And if you have a handful of agents that are just sending you out on all their listings, this time next year, you're not marketing yourself. And people like my sister, she works with like one or two agents. They keep her busy full time. And that's the beauty. You can target them. They're easy to find. They're easy to connect with, easy to become friends with. And staging does lead to more opportunities. So if you found that staging wasn't really your thing, you really love design, you got first crack at the new homeowner when you go into their home for staging. And that's why I teach both in my staging and design certification. I start with staging and then I show you how to upsell to redesign. And I love a story. One of my members, Mitchell, he was actually a speaker too at the last RESA convention. He shared a story with me that he staged a home and the clients were so happy with the staging job he did. No surprise. They requested design services for the new property because he's already got all the connections. He's got the vendors, he already knows where to shop, and they loved his aesthetic. So this happens more often than not. That's the reason I love staging. And here is some of his photos, which are beautiful. And no surprise why they'd love it. So, number two, assessment. Let's talk personal and professional. Envision your perfect job if you could not fail. What would that look like? And in the staging and design realm, there's a lot of different niches people go in, but you have to kind of personally assess what are your strengths and your weaknesses. And I tell people this, kind of walk people through day one. You have to be keen on that because because those will lead to opportunities in your business and also threats. So, for instance, if your strength is teaching, you're a teacher. I saw someone who was a retired teacher. I would say your marketing opportunity is getting in front and teaching presentations, doing presentations for agents, getting in front. You're comfortable in front of people. You know you're going to do well in that kind of marketing avenue, and probably not the more if your strength is that you're more technical and you love that sort of thing, so you're probably going to do better with email marketing, Facebook, Instagram ads, like setting up funnels. So everybody has kind of their strengths and weaknesses, and that's what you're going to hone into for your business. And then the big question is, what limiting beliefs are kind of holding you back? Because I think this is the big one, and everybody who has started or joined my training, that they feel like they finally just needed to pull the trigger. It was because of a limiting belief. And I just recently shared on my blog Tamara's story because I really like it. Her limiting belief was she had been a stager for years. She was like the third of you on this line who were new stagers. And she thought, she just knew she wasn't taking her business where it should be. She was kind of at this level, but she knew she was capable of doing more. So she decided, she had that epiphany moment during COVID that she wanted more, that she was ready. And that's when she actually took my training to kind of up level her business. She still didn't really believe that she could do it. She always thought those are for other big time stagers, not for her. She'll just stay in her small little niche. But she did. And that's what's great. She's like, it gave me the tools and confidence to just jump in and do the damn thing, to take her business to the next level. And the reason why it took, training like this takes businesses to the next level is structure. So whether you create structure for yourself on your own or whether you get it, like I said, through a training, structure is critical to any entrepreneur. And the reason why is it sets the expectation. Because how many of you, and it also builds confidence, how many of you just don't really feel confident in starting your own business or getting into staging and design? So fear has been holding you back from what you love. Anyone bold enough to be honest in the chat? Yeah, everyone who has joined my training has always been in your shoes. You're not alone. This is legit, and including myself. So here's the secret sauce. When you have a process and a framework that you follow for every design service you offer, not just staging, you will feel credible, confident, professional, and believable. Your client's never going to ask you, how long have you been staging? Because they can see and trust that you are credible and confident and in control. That is the secret sauce. So start developing that for yourself. So I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like. In my training, these are sneak peeks, but it's really things you can create for yourself. We have a top dollar guide. This is a Canva template that my members literally go in, they swap the photos. So all the copy and everything's done for them. But this is a guide that they use. Remember, I told you those strategic partnerships with agents. So when they approach an agent, again, they have a structure for approaching and networking with agents. And they say, when you work with me as your stager, we have a co-branded guide that walks sellers through how they get the best price for their home. We walk them through the 3 keys to selling. We walk them through understanding buyers. We walk them through statistics and why staging is so important. And then we walk them through how we use 8 steps in each room to stage, next steps, and then it's co-branded for the stager and the agent. So they both look good. So, oh, save your questions, you guys, if you have it. I love it. So this is just an example of a structure where it's making people look good. Another thing is having a structure for the way you take leads into your site. Because I'm not a big fan of cold calling. I spend a lot of time in my training walking people through how to drive traffic to their website so that they can get the leads. And this is one way. This is a form that I walk people through. They can do get a quote. You want to see my pricing? Here's a get a quote. Or you can click here to book a discovery call because that's free. So we have a lot of those calls to actions I tell people to put on their website, so that the visitors will be like, yeah, I want to talk to this stager. Let's see, or designer. Let's see what they're up to. So the client can pick a service. And then here, and feel free to screenshot this. This is the questions. I have these order sheets for every single type of design service that you would have, whether it's redesign or staging or holiday design or even Airbnb designs in the training, because it just helps you when you have a structure again for what questions to ask when somebody calls. You're feeling confident, right? You're not willy nilly. So we have all of that kind of lined up. And we have a structure for how you would bid on, let's say, a vacant home. A lot of people are confused about that. And in that, we have kind of investment guide. Again, people are just swapping their photos in there, um, swapping a little photo of themselves, swapping their portfolio photos in the investment guides that we give them. But it walks people through. This is how I work. Here's my structure. They change the contact details, walks them through the pricing with the call to action. Click to book your home assessment. And then I walk people through how to price, vacant jobs, because I know people kind of panic on that. And I have this ridiculously easy 2-minute formula that works every time for every area across North America. And then, of course, we have copy in there that shows clients why they should choose you, why you're better. And we cover their frequently asked questions. So we go over any objections. So it's all kind of done for you. But again, it's that structure that makes you look good, and you can build this yourself. I mean, hit pause, go into Canva. Canva is free, and you can do this sort of thing for your own business. Another thing, I mean, I know that you guys know what you're doing. How many of you, when you walk into a room, just automatically know how to make it look better? You know how to redesign. You just intuitively, because of your passion. Yeah, just go ahead and put me. That's what I do. Great. Yeah. And those of you that don't know what Canva, CANVA, that alone is worth it for this. You'll go there. It's a free software online. You're going to love it. Anyway, I could spend a whole other training on that. Yes. So in my training, I walk people through bringing the seller on board. So it's 8 steps in each room so that buyers feel home. You see it, another acronym. But the whole point is, I know that my members know what they're doing. I know they know what to go in. But the point is having a structure that you can share with your clients as to what you're looking for and why it brings them on board. So that is why their agent love it, the agent partners love it, and all my members say their clients really go, oh, light bulb moment. This makes sense. It doesn't just happen. I can't just wave my magic wand. There's 8 steps in each room. Having a very specific structure for your consultations. And we even have in the training a very specific structure for when you're walking through the home, like what to say, what to do. And then we have pages, it's kind of check mark for each page as you're going through the home. So you can see adding this structure, by the time people get through 3 weeks of this, they're confident, they're credible, the fear is gone. I even have a structure for how to shop. How many of you would love to know how to shop trade, wholesale, to get the best, most deepest discounts from the best vendors out there? Anyone? I was shocked. I actually took way back when I was on my journey. Yeah, I took a design training class. It did not teach me anything on that. I was shocked. I spend like a day on this because I want you, and I'm always bringing up new conglomerate areas that you can shop and get trade. It's my black book. This is kind of in um, my e-design, my vacation rental, and in my staging training. But here I show you how using just one vendor, you can shop over 200 different trade vendors and and build a board, build kind of a look like this for clients, and they can shop it direct, and you're making over 6,000 on that trade product, and they're shopping it direct. This is kind of new. And I walk people through that in both my staging and the e-design, which is so cool. So that's the thing. You just have this knowledge, you have the vendors, you have everything you need to kind of build and structure that business. But the structure is what will get rid of your fear and give you confidence. So we've gone through the three: the planning, the assessment, and the structure. So the next 5 keys that I'm going to go over are more essential as well, and I'm going to be quicker through those. But first, before I get there, I told you I was going to tell you about a special. I have not had a discount on my staging training. So all those forms, everything you saw, in months and months and months. So I'm doing a discount, $50 off my staging training, um, with the coupon code Dream Big. So if you're interested, there's a button below. It expires Friday at midnight. I know a lot of people have been saying they've been waiting for this one. Just make sure, a lot of people don't do this. Put it in the coupon code Dream Big, to save your $50 at checkout. So I'm doing that special because the thing is, having that blueprint for success, the cost of a training is cheaper than any business you're going to start, and it gives you that framework. You saw that structure. It's led to the most successful people in the industry. It gives you the tools, the templates, the materials. I don't just train. So I've invested in online trainings myself, where they're just there and they're just teaching me. And that's great. But I want all the tools, the structure. I want all those forms. And that's what I give you. I don't upsell those things to you. It's all in there, and it's there so that you have the knowledge and the confidence and that you can roll out your business quickly. I want you to make money quickly. And interestingly, the people I've looked at the past 20 years, the people in my membership who have joined my training, interestingly, in the fall, have done really, really well. And it's because they've taken the fall, the holiday time that's typically slower in their normal job, to really build out their business so they can launch in spring when staging gets hot. It's interesting that that happens. It's at your own pace, your own fingertips, and it's designed to work around your full-time job. I mentioned Tamara, where she's 60 years old. She up leveled her business. And she said, I know you get these stories all the time. I never get tired of hearing them. Thank you so much. Um, she's like, I'll never be able to thank you enough. I'm 3 years in on big scale staging. So now she's big scale. She never thought she'd do it, and she did it. She's the happiest she's ever been. Thank you. She just wasn't, she was still like in her sweet spot passion, but she knew she could do better and she did it, which I love. It's 3 weeks, you guys, online, and it's different than other trainings out there in the sense that, like I said, it gives you all the forms and guides, but it also teaches advanced things. So I know I've seen other trainings where they upsell a lot of stuff. It kind of walks you through a lot of niches that you can do. And it also covers redesign, talks a lot about marketing, realtor partnerships, touches base on like holiday design. I know a lot of people are interested in that, model home staging, all that sort of stuff. And the truth is, a lot of people go, well, can I get it done quicker? Well, it's at your own pace. So you can skip the stuff that you don't think you need. But I find that, much like this quote by Steve Jobs, when you're working on something that you really care about, even if you're doing it around your full time job, you don't have to be pushed. People tell me they can't put down the training because it just pulls them. They know they're in their sweet spot. I love to share my Boston Rob, his story. He's like, you know, my story. I was a buyer for years in the retail, and he was very successful at it. Um, but he just wasn't, he just got tired of it. You know, so many of us, I know a lot of you had said that. He said, I wanted a job that I love, that allows me to travel. He isn't my travel person. He goes to Aruba. He's all, today I'm in Aruba. While I'm in Aruba, I'm scheduling some holiday decorating appointments. There was a bank that reaches out, and he holiday decorates several branches of their bank every year. He took my holiday decorating training that's in my staging training, and he does 10 branches, and it's just residual business so that he can do these kind of trips, which I love. It's a great story. Eve, remember I mentioned Eve? She was my stenographer. She was the court reporter where she said she's done, and she realized, and this is what she sent me long ago, when she realized she wants her Act Two to focus on her passion, which at the time was a lot of different things: renovating, redesigning, property management. Um, they also own short and long term rentals. And this is when she started her business. So she didn't even necessarily start a business in staging, but the staging and redesign led her to kind of Airbnb design. This is a photo of us at RisaCon last year that she took, which I love. And then this year, she sent me this email where she's like, I know you're busy. I'm busy. I just want you to know we're growing gangbusters. She manages 30 short term, long term rentals. She's doing a ton of staging and design. And she has several teams. She's hired her entire family. So she went from being a court reporter hating it to now her entire family works for her. Her website's killing it. She does her website through us. Her social media is through us as well, and she's killing it. She's like, I even hired an operations manager. I mean, she's big time. She's bigger time than me. I just love it. So it's just exciting. Not to say that that's kind of where your dream will take you, but I love to share these stories because they're real stories of people that, again, the structure leads to confidence. It's that framework, it's the design sweet spot. It allows you for advanced growth, and it allows you kind of showcases all the different areas you can take your business. I interviewed Eve's interview is in my training where you walk you through kind of how she got into co-hosting and doing all that. And it's just the confidence to offer various services. And I shared Kristen's story again. She took the training too scared to do something new. And I know a lot of you said the same thing, but she's just like, now she does extensive business remodeling in the Ozarks, new construction. So she's very niche. She works on new construction, remodeling in a tourist area. She took my model home training, which is inside my staging training. That's another niche. First year she did 50,000, second year 120K, and then she did over seven figures her third year. Again, I'm not telling you that you can do that, but I'm saying these are people like you who were worried, they had fear, and they've created businesses that they never thought would be possible. Which leads me to number 4 of passions. Support. You can't be an island in this industry. You know, this is one of the great things about this business is you can start it from home. It's a home-based business, but you need the support. And this is why I do have a private Facebook group. I think I'm one of the only training companies that it's a private because it's a safe space for people. And I think that's important where you can ask any kind of question. So for instance, like Kathy asked, hey, you guys, here's my situation. I'm in this current job, and client's coworker wants me to give her advice for free. And I love that Michelle Minch, if you haven't been in the, if you're new to the industry, or if you've been in the staging industry any long, she took my training back in 2007, but she is in there answering. She's talk about veteran. She does coaching, everything. She's in there answering questions for people, which I love. Um, so I'm going to get to how you can do this around 9 to 5. And that is in this section, innovation, niches, and growth. And this is a niche. So if you want to do this around your 9 to 5, your niche is going to be a little bit different than somebody that is doing the larger vacant staging. And I'm here to say there's still plenty of business in both. Okay. So we're going to talk about the difference between a consulting based business, that's around your 9 to 5, and a vacant. And I talk about this a lot in the training, but here's the difference. And I find that people go in usually one or the other. If you have money to invest in inventory, even though it doesn't cost that much to invest in the first inventory, and I walk you through in my vacant training where to shop and get inventory that's cheap and how to get the money right up front so that you can buy. If you have flexibility in time, so you're not working your 9 to 5, if you don't like the client part as much, and if you like to just work with the clean slate home, if these four sound like you in the chat, put me. If you like to just go into a place like this, tell the client to take everything out and turn it into this. This is my sister's work. Clean slate. Yeah. She does a lot of design, helps them with renovations, everything, cosmetic. Um, but it's full time for her. She could not do this around a 9 to 5. Here's the interesting thing. If you're the opposite, if you've got your 9 to 5, so a lot of my members, this is where they start, right? They may want the vacant, but they're not ready for it yet. They're not ready to quit their day job. We all need the money. They have monetary constraints. That's you. They need the more time flexibility. They like to work with people. They really want to go into that occupied home and offer those solutions. And they love the challenge and creativity of working with people's items to solve design issues. Because here's the thing, in every housing market, there's the multi-million, the million plus, the expensive homes that benefit the most from clean slate vacant. And there's the lower price homes where that may not make as much sense. And the people need to live there. So they're not going to move all their stuff out and go through that. They just need you to work with what they have. And that is the consultation based business model. That means you can do it around their work schedule. So you can do a consultation in the evenings, you can do it on weekends as you slowly build your business. So you're going into a space like this and you're turning it into something like this. So you're walking in, you're helping them, telling them what to do, giving them the shopping list, and walking away in a consultation. So if that sounds like you, yeah, put me. So, but the question I get from people is, well, how then do I get to the point where I can quit my day job, right? It's all about how do I make money doing consults? Okay. If you did, and this is also how you'd price yourself, by the way, two staging consultations a week, they're about 2 hours, $250 on average across the country. Some areas more expensive than others. But if you just are like, I don't know my pricing, okay, 250 bucks. You'd make $500. And then let's say this happens a lot. The home needs your time in the home. They need you in there kind of reworking, rehanging the art, removing some of the furniture. Like we're rolling up our sleeves. That leads to a staging day and shopping, which by the way, you can shop in your outside time 9 to 5. Staging day, you're going to put probably on the weekend. And then maybe it'll lead to a color consultation. So I say a lot of jobs are just you just get the color consultation because color is just booming right now. Um, that would get you 1850 a week or 92,000 a year working 13 client hours. So if you're working your 9 to 5, can you fit another 13 client hours in there? I mean, you don't even need to fit that much because I'm not expecting you to make close to 6 figures in your really part-time job. But you see how these things make sense. And this is slowly how people, this is why I say get into staging first. Consultation based business model will work your way. If you add a day of redesign, you're actually over 6 figures. So you can see how that kind of works. So I have a lot of members that they just don't do vacant. They just do consultation. And I have others, my vacant stagers, they don't want to do that. They don't want to work with what people have and they refer business to the consultant. So and I see them do that in my Stagers Connect. So the keys to consultation success, if you want to do it full time, is you got to broaden your consultation services, obviously. Upsell, redesign. Obviously, I talk about that in my staging training. Start with staging, maybe e-design, Airbnb. This is why I added those other courses and color. And the reason why I love color is because color is a gateway. How many of you have been noticing? I'm going to be talking about this in my trends workshop next. The colors of the year that they're picking are so incredibly bold. Any of you guys see that in the chat? Say, yeah, I've seen it. Every color's the year. We are backlashing off of the white and black and neutral zones that we've been in. And it's so exciting. That means my color consultants are going to be very, very busy. Color drenching that goes awry. Oh, yeah, we're going to see it everywhere. Anyway, color consulting offers bang for the buck. Color trends have changed. Can we all agree on that, right? So that leads me to my second offer. Um, and it was the second course I created because so many of my stagers are like, I want to just do color consulting. I want the art of that. Walk me through exactly how I would structure my color consulting business. And it's we're doing a coupon code on that until Friday at midnight. Same coupon, Dream Big. So you could save $100 on both courses um, by doing that. And it all of my courses have won awards since the moment they came out. This is a 3-day course, not a 3-week. The other one is 3 weeks. This is 3 days, and it literally walks you through business in a box, how you would start a color consulting business, how you'd market it, how you grow it, exactly my 6 steps to picking the right color schemes in a home. I'm very detailed. It gives you all of my cheat sheets. My cheat sheet is kind of the essential element, walks you through the undertones and all the neutrals that you'd be picking, walks you through how to build, like I said, that scheme, how to fix issues in the home, especially design issues in the home. Um, I love Alicia's story because I love to share it. She was like so many of you, all she did actually was my color course, didn't have a website or anything, and just started marketing like I told her to in the training. And now she's just working full time with investors. She's picking out light fixtures, flooring, backslash, because the color training is not just about paint colors, even though I detail that for you. It's about picking all the colors in a design plan, new build renovation for your clients. And it walks you through how easy you could market that. So it's its own niche business. All right. Well, getting back to the presentation. Oh, to really be successful as an entrepreneur, you've got to be open and transparently, gorgeously you. You got to put yourself out there. You got to trust yourself. You have been training yourself, your passion on the elements of great design since you were a kid. All of you guys said this. So trust that, please. Trust that you'll know what to do. There's a lot of how to, and of course, all my trainings, but I never really, the people, people stumble with is really the structure. Trust in the law of attraction. You may not be that she stager over here, but there are going to be clients that will want the she stager. There's going to be clients that are going to want you. Okay. That's why I do my happy hour wines. I know that my law of attraction, not everyone's going to fit with me. And that is okay because you got to put yourself out there, and the law of attraction says that those people, your clients, are out there. Listen well, say no for what you can't do, but know please that you can do it. Own your brand. Put your photo on everything. You have to put yourself out there. Like I said, I did not do this for years. My business did not. I love Carrie says cheers to that. So true. And it doesn't have to be, you don't even have to spend money on a professional photo. Please just go outside, use your iPhone, some good lighting, put some makeup on, you can do some good things. My members do that. And in this industry, people buy from people they know, from the photo, from the brand. This is why you follow people on Instagram, those designers. You're not following the name of the company, you're following that person. That's why I told you to name your business your name. You are your brand. And the law of attraction says there's a client out there for all of us, several, by the way. So you don't need to be anything you're not. Just be you, own it, and you'll do great. I told you Eve's story. Eve, she's following her strengths. She sent me this photo where her ad, because she does Facebook ads and Instagram ads, which I walk people through in my training, was next to my ad. And I know a lot of you people found me based on ad. And she's doing everything right. She's putting herself out there in her ad. Now, you may not make an ad like this, right? She's cutesy, she's adorable, right? That this ad probably wouldn't fit for me. But guess what? Guess who she's fitting with? Who she's attracting? That's who she's attracting. Second to last, N. No. How many of you have a hard time saying no to people in the chat? Put yes. How many of you are stagers and designers and you took on a red flag client that you knew? And this breaks my heart because I do see people sometimes, they get into the industry, they don't get any particular training on how to say no. Because I get these emails a lot. How do I say no to this? Just say no. You know when it's a red flag. Here are the signs that you know it's a red flag that you just shouldn't take. And this will save you so much in the long run. We're never desperate enough to take the wrong client. Please never be. Because when you have a marketing system in place, there'll be the right client behind them. Remember that law of attraction? Knowing what you can and cannot take on. If the client's not giving you the whole story or full information, there are scams out there. Obviously, red flag. Questioning your process and your rates. If you have a structure and you're credible, they won't. But when they start doing that, red flag. They can't spare you the time of the phone interview, those questions that I have, that, that order sheet that I walked you through, red flag. If they're negative, aggressive, arrogant, or whiny, that's just my red flags. Maybe not yours, but just mine. None of my members are the best. Um, or if they have an unreasonable time frame or expectations, they needed it staged or designed yesterday. Mm, you know, if you said no to that small percentage of clients that are going to give you the biggest headache, like there's this law, this business law that says that, and in the staging and design world, luckily I think it's only 5% of people are going to give you 95% of your headaches. If you had the wherewithal to say no to those 5%, you'd save 95% of your headaches. So it's really just about trusting yourself and saying no. And I walk people through this a lot in my training, saying no to the wrong client. It's okay to do that because the right client is around the corner, especially when you have your marketing in place. Here's just another before and after photo that I love, which leads me to the last step, which is for a lot of us, we just start. You got to start by starting. I've already given you some steps that you can do to just get the ball rolling, get that dream rolling. As you're thinking about this next year and what that's going to look for you, why not? Because creativity, it's a muscle. When you're not using it, it kind of gets flabby. But when you're using it, you get stronger at it, you get better, and it is a daily indulgence. I hope you guys are creatively indulging yourself every day because we all have this compass inside of what we think we should be doing. There is a reason why you signed up for this workshop. There's this reason that in the back of your mind, this niggle that, what if in my life? You have that compass that's pointing you in potentially this direction. I will give you the map. The staging industry is the best place to start, filled with the best people in the world. And I promise you that the map, when followed, will take you to the area that you really want to be. It's A to Z training. Like I said, it's at your own pace, 3 weeks. Um, Group trainer support. You not only just have me, you have the support of veterans across the country. You can always refer back to it. And it's mixed media. And I think that's important because, like I said, my previous company, I was a trainer as well. You learn by referring back to it and getting back to it. So it's guides, it's video, it's activities as you go along, but again, at your own pace. Maria's story is wonderful because she sent me this email. She's just like, you cover every aspect. I went into this training nervous, confused, with a blurred idea. She didn't even really know what staging was. Now I just followed your detailed steps. I have a full company and I'm confident and I'm excited to make homes beautiful. I love that. She said she was happy to discover not only does Audra cover home staging, but she provides business ideas to get involved and make extra money. The industry is filled with opportunity. It really is. She's like, I feel like you chiseled 2 years off my trial and error for her startup. And it is really true. And she no longer sees failure in her business. And what I love is she ended up hiring her whole family. How sweet is that? So three weeks, but again, at your own pace, skim, skip, follow. There is a test at the end. That's how you get your certificate, and all my trainings. And you're going to get all the forms, like I said, the contracts, the guides, the walkthrough, the order sheets, um, the steps. I give you a bunch of logos. You can instantly create a logo for your business in 2 minutes. Checklists to make sure you're not forgetting anything. How many of you have gone on a consultation and you've forgotten something? In the chat, just yes. Or you're worried about like forgetting a step. I am very anal. I think you can tell just from every presentation I have. I've got like 50 slides. Yeah, nobody wants to forget a step. So you're given all these things so that you don't, and the checklist so you don't. I have my staging toolbox checklist with links to my Amazon. We created all these brochures in Canva. All you're doing is swapping your photo in there and your contact materials, and you can have them printed. Canva is the cheapest way to print. These are for agents. I walk you through how to partner with them. We walk you through, we have the business cards as well. They're all perfectly branded. I walk you through how you brand your business. So if you're worried about just this business 101, we give you all these tools and guides so that you, and sorry, I'm going quickly through it, but I want you to know because there's just so much so that you have everything you need to really, really look good. An open house checklist. These are things that you can use to give to your sellers so that they love you. And we even have things like the elements of great design for your design side of your business, and for the redesign. Let's skip that. And we even give you the email follow-up. So many times you're like, "How do I do an email follow-up to my clients?" Well, we give you the copy and paste email follow-up scripts that you can literally copy and paste and send to agents. Because confidence comes from knowledge. So investing in your learning and your materials and the resources inevitably leads to more confidence. This is why my company is called Home Staging. We are the resource for it. Um, any questions on the training? Happy to take as we're wrapping up. I love it. You guys are great. I've got like, um, any questions? You guys are great. A little more quiet group. I love it. So if you learned a little bit in this hour, imagine 3 weeks. Thanks, Carrie. 3 weeks with me, because it is 3 weeks. There's a lot to learn when starting a staging business. Yes, you can use your training notes on the test. We have a whole manual you download. It's 300 pages that corresponds with the videos. Um, Karen, there's no annual fee to keep your certification. Once you're certified, you're always certified, but you don't have unlimited access. Access is for a year for the 3 weeks because I'm always adding to it and adding more resources. You guys are great. Here come all the questions. Oh, wow. Okay. Um, oh, I'm glad that you're motivated. Thank you, James. Design layout program. Yeah, I go through kind of how to create vision boards. I touch on that in the training in my model home section. Oh, great. Great. You guys are great. Can you take longer than 3 weeks, Octavia? Absolutely. You can take longer. You can take 3 months. You can take a year. Because the one thing I only hear from people is that in the end, they regret they just didn't start this earlier. Please don't be that person. I get this all the time when people sign up for my training. They're like, I've been watching, following you for years. I wish I started this earlier. I showed you in the stats how wonderful. What a great time it is to start. You have not missed the boat, you guys. Give me your passion, give me 30 days, and I will help you create the business doing what you love. Do not forget to put the coupon code in because you're saving. Fear is gone now. Diane says, I love it. Dream big, coupon code. I love it. Diane, fear is gone. Ready to start with the training. That is wonderful. And that's the point. Throughout the training, I am building your confidence. I'm getting rid of your fear, giving you those steps, that structure so that you have it. Yes, you can always extend your membership. You can purchase the add-on to member forward. But a lot of people they finish and I have people who took the training 5 years ago and they renew like 5 years later to get all the new material. So that it's very, very flexible, but you have plenty of time to get through the 3 weeks. Thanks. Thanks, you guys. Cheers to you. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and I hope to see you in my next workshop. Take care. Thanks.